May is National Stroke Awareness Month, and each year, over 750,000 people have a stroke in the U.S. alone. So this is a topic that affects so many. So joining us right now, we have Dr. Gautam Suchdeva from Sanford Health to help raise awareness on this topic. We also have Holly Neeson. With us. Holly is a stroke program coordinator, and our doctor is a stroke neurologist. So we have this is so important. And so I'm going to let you kind of kick her off, though. But welcome back to the show, first of all, and tell us all about this.
Thank you for having us. I would start by saying Happy Nurses Week to all the nurses out there. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing whatever you do on a daily basis, for being the guiding force and being the backbone of our medical fraternity. So thank you.
It's awesome, yeah.
So,
what is a stroke?
So, very good question. Stroke is basically an acute onset of change in your neuro exam. It's basically a clot going up all the way to the brain and blocking blood supply to the brain. Or it could be a rupture of a brain vessel, which could produce neurological symptoms which are always acute in onset. The most important part is that you gotta seek medical attention immediately. Now mind you, 87% of the strokes are caused due to clotting, and around 13% of the strokes are caused due to bleeding in the brain.
Okay, so how can we identify if someone is having a stroke?
That's a great question. So the most important signs to recognize is, this is the acronym you got to remember, B FAST. So I'll break it for you. So B stands for any acute change in balance. E is for eyes, any loss of vision or any acute changes in your vision. F is for face, if you have any sort of facial asymmetry, if one side of the face is drooping. A is for arms, if you have any weakness on one side more than the other. S is for your speech, if there's any acute changes in your speech, if you can't understand or can't talk what anybody is saying. And T is the time to call 911.
Okay.
We should add one more, Dr. Suchdeva. If you have a very sudden headache, and the worst headache of your life, could be another sign or symptom of stroke.
Okay.
Especially if you're looking at strokes due to bleeding in the brain, the most common sign is the worst headache of your life. Any of that happens, call 911.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Well, how then can people avoid having a stroke? So
stroke has risk factors. Some of them is something which you're born with and you can't change. Those are non-modifiable. Sure. Like, if you're a certain race, if you have a family history, those kind of things cannot be changed. The majority of the risk factors, though, are modifiable, which means you have control over managing them, which are what? Diabetes, blood pressure, cholesterol, smoking. These are one of the biggest risk factors which one has control over. What I tell my patients always is, it's very important to have your annual physical visits, because your primary doctor is the one who's keeping a track of all these to make sure those don't go out of control, which of course prevents the risk of stroke.
Very important. Always pay attention to your body and get in to see the doctor.
Exactly.
So important. Thank you so much. This is such an important topic, and as you mentioned, May is National Stroke Awareness Month. So we want to make sure we're paying attention to that. We are going to put some information, especially Be Fast, up on our Facebook page and our website. So thank you. Where else can people go for information?
See, information is readily available on American Heart and American Stroke Association website. Okay. It's available on our Sanford website. I think one thing I want to mention here, which is very important, is it's very, very important to seek immediate medical attention when you're having a stroke, because the symptoms of stroke are reversible in that window. We can give you a clot buster medication. I like to call it a Drano for blood vessels. Okay. It's called the TPA.
Sure.
And then the other option is we can surgically go out with catheters and try to fetch that clot out, and you can see really good recoveries in people who present right away.
Yeah, thank you. We are out of time, but this is very important. Thank you so very much for being with us today. Coming up on today's show, we have your daily dose of motivation.